Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2 with the most Terran player out there in the blue. It's Micro Jackson, ByuN. Up against the player ranked #1 in the world by Dark. The final boss. It's Dark. A best of 5 Terran versus Zerg between two players who for over 10 years have put on some of the best games in all of StarCraft 2, partially because of their reckless aggression, partially because of their unique strategies, and partially, like in this case, because of their unfettered greed. And unrelated, if you haven't yet, it'd be awesome if you could like and subscribe. And Jimmy, what are we? 1,338 likes on this video, on this cast. I'll cast another one. I'll probably do it anyways. I don't know what else I would do with my life. But thank you for watching. Hopefully you've had a good day so far. And hopefully it's about to get just a little bit better. ByuN breaking out one of his top 3 strategies to start things off here on Post Youth. Marines. Now, this is, I believe, second on the list. First, of course, is Reapers. And then third is Reapers and then Marines. In this case, he only did a single Reaper into a Marine timing. But don't worry, he's going to expand the variety of his units by adding medevacs in here momentarily. And Post Youth, despite the more geriatric nature of its name and those spectating, is actually the closest rush distance of any map in the pool, to my understanding. Once you get down the ramp, you're just a hop, skip, and a angry yell over the center of the map from being on your opponent's lawn. So once things get started, and the reason why usually it's a little more passive to start is because going up a ramp into 2 bases doesn't usually go well, unless you have things like medevacs to help out. So, but Dark taking full advantage. He's expanding to not just a 4th, but a 5th base. They both got their upgrades on the way. Going to be well over 50 workers before 6 minutes. Dark is taking 3 hatcheries, 2 outside and 1 in. You gotta have your inside and your outside hatcheries, more known as macro hatches, but we're a little more progressive here. All right. Well, the Marines gathering near the ad screens that the legally distinct moopies are so... I mean, yeah, it makes sense. One of them vulture bikes. Down goes the hatch. But Dark, this is essentially an offering, saying, here, take out my 4th. I have 2 more. And to be clear, he does indeed have 2 more. No! Well, Queen's gunned down. 3 of them chopped down right at the start. And the Marines will stutter step back. He trusted him to back off, but curse your sudden but inevitable betrayal, Marines. Don't know why Dark thought he could get away with going up that ramp with just Queens right when the medevacs were there, but the Queens suffer the price. But Dark has successfully played some zone defense here. The Chew Toy Depot serving its purpose. The Zerglings will, yep, they can't help themselves with a tasty depot. ByuN actually supply blocked after the Chew Toy Depot is chewed too roughly. And that will slow down production at kind of a key timing, as the rest of his production coming online. Second factory on the way. We're going to have the 2-factory variation. Bit more of a bio-curious build to start things off. Probably Widow Mines added in if I had to take a wild and educated guess. As one, that unit starts with M, and don't be pedantic and say it's Widow Mines. It technically starts with a W, alright? Just like Magos, which are a long ways off at this point. Waits until the hatchery is finished and then guns it down immediately. Got a few tanks to back it up. Another hatch spotted. Dark has 2 more to the north side. At some point, you do need units to defend. And that's why Dark is making 50 more Zerglings and a hive. And that Viper Den gonna be finished momentarily. But ByuN already has 5 Marines out on the field. A lot to contend with. The upgrades. 2-2 will be... Well, this is something. Now, if you look out the window to your right, you'll see a bunch of tentacles. All right. Medevac's intimidated. Meanwhile, Dark comes in with a counterattack. The splits on the Marines will minimize the Banelings, but... Dark. Well, we know where some of his prize money went. Apparently bribed whoever was piloting that depot into keeping it open, kills 18 SCVs between the bases. And manages to burrow the Ling as well, which is going to be moderately annoying. 18 SCVs down. Dark has 69 drones back at home and a nice path up the tech tree with Ultralisk Cavern, 2-2 finishing. Vipers on the way and Adrenal Glands. So he's filling in the rest of the Hive tech here. And if he's able to get the upgrades, he has the resource to get some of the upgrades immediately. Now ByuN has a tenuous economy. He's just now taking his 4th against a Dark who has 5 bases, and the moment he wins a fight will take 4 more. But winning a fight is going to be somewhat difficult against the magnitude of Marines that ByuN is bringing to the table. Some Banelings come in. The Widow Mines not able to find too many connections, but the Zerglings are able to get into the 3rd base where 15 more SCVs will be ripped apart. Though the Marines find a nice choke point to gun down the Zerglings. Gets a few dozen more. Oh my god. Okay, well that is a few dozen. 116 Zerglings have died in a minute, which is not a very sustainable rate of Zergling loss. He did kill a lot of SCVs, but so many Zerglings on both fronts going down. Right now, the larva is the limiting factor. The Banelings coming in, roll up to the Marines. Vipers have full energy. Parasitic Bomb onto the Medevacs. Fortunately, the ones without anyone inside. It doesn't stack, and it doesn't kill Medevacs in a single hit, but makes it a lot harder to escape from the Queens. Chitinous plating about completed, and the El Chapo Lisks are nearly online, and there is not a Ghost Academy in sight. ByuN is on the clock right now. He saw the Vipers. He knows Hive Tech is online. If he was gonna go Ghosts, it would have been a minute ago. At this point... Oh my. Back to the... Jimmy! I went through a time warp there, but the Medevacs are able to escape. He has been keeping good control of the creep. That is one thing we can say for ByuN's active style here. As the creep is not too far out, he's kept the queen count down, which has also stressed the injects, and part of the reason why Dark is unable to max out. Bit of a misburrow there. The Zergling in the main unburrows, and then I think he had it on select all army hotkey, so not too much from that. But now, Dark building up, solidifying his bank, his economy. ByuN is building Marines, Marauders, Medevacs. Well, I would have said mines, but no mines. He has plating for his tanks and, well, his mech on the way. So no indicator of really leaning into the mech except to make it a little more survivable. He's going to try to deal with the Ultras with conventional bio. But the problem is, he hasn't been able to limit Dark's economy. And that means for every Ultralisk he's able to take out, Dark is likely going to be able to replace it by the time ByuN makes any progress on the map. Dark is opting for Operation Overlord. Mass Overlords to drop some Zerglings into the main. He doesn't want to give ByuN the opportunity to fight on his terms. He wants ByuN to either be forced into a base trade or pinned up against his own base. So that way the Ultras can get maximum effectiveness. Now you see the drops are moving out, and Dark looking on the map. Widow Mine connects with a dozen or so Zerglings, and by that I mean 9. All right, well, dozen is not really a unit of measurement that's working well for me today. So we'll say several Zerglings. 3-3 is done, though, for ByuN. +3 attack is already done for the Ultras. A +3 Carp is not too far behind. Blinding Cloud used. Of course, the Ultras don't care about that. Parasitic Bomb. Zerglings into the main, but a huge Bio Ball is still at home. ByuN has so much army supply. 130 to just 100. And the Widow Mine takes another big bite out of that. Ground Carapace, level 3, is completed both sides with maximum upgrades for their main units. A Queen tanking a lot of the damage. The Bio army badly bruised, and the Medevacs nearly out of energy and also hurting themselves. And still, ByuN says, I don't need no education. No Ghost Academy whatsoever. Not attempting to fight these Ultras with the Ghost, but instead just maxing out on Marauders and Mines. There are 4 Ultras on the field. Dark has enough money for more than that. He's got a Hydra done. Zerglings into the main, into the natural, such as it is, but easily taken out by the reinforcements. ByuN is maxed out with money in the bank, and Dark is trying to get the damage done. And here comes Dark. Banelings at the front. The mines are not burrowed. Dark is trying to force ByuN out of position so he can just collapse on him with the Ultras. But ByuN, the sheer force of Terran, the amount of DPS that the Bio Ball brings to the table, Dark is not able to crack it. He's gonna try here. This is his best opportunity to get the damage done. A lot of the army is caught and ripped apart. And parasitic bombs on the Medevacs make things a lot easier. The Bio army is in autumn colors right now. The Ultras could start cleaving through with ease. Another Bio Ball over to the right, though. Rolling through the Hydras and the Queens, but every Medevac, he could really use Caduceus Reactor, actually, at this point, as the Medevacs are just running out of energy as the units continue to get stuck in the fray. Which ones survive, at least? When Medevacs across the board, struggling for energy, he has 9 of them, but it seems like his Bio army is permanently damaged. They need Rehab or Caduceus Reactor. One or the other will be one way to deal with this. But Dark, he's had the higher economy for 10 minutes straight. It's not getting any better. ByuN will not financially recover from this at this rate. It doesn't matter how many orbitals you have if you have no mineral patches on which to drop your mules. Another attack attempted. Hydras from the right flank, trying to work through. Widowmine actually takes out a Viper, but Zerglings into the main. Ultra still outside the third. ByuN, a very capable defense that is surprisingly effective considering the unit composition he's trying to deal with. The Ultras are not making the headway they need, but Hydras are starting to trade more efficiently. ByuN pulls the boys to try to break the critical mass of Hydras. But the Zerg are endless. He hasn't done anything to slow down Dark's economy without the Ghosts, or without Liberators, or even Siege tanks. ByuN is fighting a losing war of attrition. Very simply, Dark will just keep rebuilding until ByuN has nothing left. And that may come sooner rather than later. The Medevacs take it out of the sky. The supply plummets as well. And Dark with a comfortable victory against an inflexible ByuN in game number 1. Get with the times, old man. It might be post-youth, but that doesn't mean you can't update your unit composition. I wasn't sure which ByuN we'd see today. Sometimes ByuN just says, I don't care. I'm making Marines, Marauders, and Medevacs. Or die trying. And Dark says, well, death it is. Hopefully, he's able to turn it around and expand his unit composition to include at least one more key unit in order to put a series on our hands, but when he gets in one of these moods. This reminds me of this particular build we're seeing here on Crimson Court in Game 2. If you go back, I don't know which one. There's about 78 different finals in various online tournaments between ByuN and Dark in the last year or two. So, don't ask me to narrow it down. But it was sometime in 2023, 4 years ago, when ByuN was first doing this build, the 2-Rax Reaper, which he wasn't able to bring to bear last game, where he lost 2 times to Dark, and then he did it again. Oh, this is 3-Rax Reaper, but we're still doing my anecdote, so whatever. But he lost 2 times in a row in a best of 5, and he did it again, and Dark saw it with the Overlord, just like this. And He's like, how many times are you gonna do this? And this was before it became a meta build. And ByuN simply replied, till I win. And then ByuN turned it around and won 3 games in a row. He seemingly made some adjustments. But the 3-per build. Well, in this case, much more than the 3-per build. Oh, no. It's just mass Reaper. It's 3 rags Reaper here. But the point being, ByuN, when he puts his mind to something, will brute force his way. Well, brute force with great finesse. Doing surgery on a grape sort of finesse. Oh my god, Brenda, run! No! Ah! I'll have my revenge! Maybe not this game! The queens are getting bullied by the... Oh, come on. Oh, this is... So Dark wins a comfortable game 1, and it looks like ByuN may just have won the game. The drones are pulled, but they're not particularly great against this. A lot of those Reapers are badly bruised. There's another queen on the low ground. He could get 2 or 3 Reapers, and that actually keeps Dark going. But Dark is down to 20 drones, and ByuN is still building Reapers. Oh my. So this is also why much of the time players will try to expand to the linear base on this map, because there are 2 Reaper jump locations, and you can just jump in between the bases, which you'd think would be good for Zerg, but ByuN clearly demonstrating, nah. And by the way, this is build number 2 here. Or was it 1? I forget. I think it's 1. Reapers, Marines. I expect next game will be Reaper Marine. He's just fighting the spine. Oh my. Well, that's a little sad. He is transitioning into Marines behind. Dark has no gas. He's fighting this with Queens and Zerglings and Spines. It appears he's stabilizing. But like much in the way of, we've stopped the bleeding but he'll never regain use of his arms kind of situation. So, like, he's not dead, but he kind of wishes he was. Oh my god, a quadruple Brenda bounce. What a combo on that one. And he's gonna get the 3rd. Alright, so, this is a Premier Tournament Championship. So Dark will GG in a timely manner. I actually thought, even though he lost the 3rd, he might not tap it out. But ByuN just builds Reapers and wins. And by the way, he was building Stim with Marines behind. So even if Dark holds a little, taking that much damage, there's no way he counters Stim Marines. There's no follow-up that's going to work. Oh, ByuN. Deja vu. Dark did get a little greedy. He went for the gasless 3 base, and he didn't even try to expand to that 3rd. But at the same time, we're all tied up. 1-1. Now we see which ByuN we're gonna get in game number 3. 2 wrecks. Not particularly surprising. So the awkward part is Dark scouted the 3 racks. The problem is, so it's a bit of a gamble. This is part of the poker game that is StarCraft 2. He can see the 3 racks, but by the time the Overlord gets across the map to see it, it's already too late to be going for the early speed. He would have already had to be mining gas to get speed by that point, and he simply wasn't. So he tried to... It cuts even further into your economy to try to scramble to mine gas and get a counter. You have to just work with what you have. So you're like, well, why would anyone do the gasless? Well, because if ByuN doesn't do 3 racks Reaper, then Dark probably gets somewhat ahead because he gambled on going for the gasless 3 hatch. So in this case, ByuN gets the better end of the builds. And when you give him an edge, he's going to cut right through. And now, how many? It's going to be 4. He's left space for the add-ons. It's not as committed, but he very likely will be able to deny the 3rd, which doesn't come up as early because he went for speed this time. Dark learned his lesson. How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? Three CC. Looks like 3-2-1-1. 3 command centers, 2 barracks, factory, and likely a starport. And then he's gonna get Marines. I know, it sounds crazy, but it just might work. Engineering bay. Double NG bay on the way. Oh my god. 3 CC, double NG bay. Now, what is Dark going to do? WWDD. What would Dark do? And in this case, just building drones. No Evo chambers yet. In fact, I don't believe he's mining gas. Oh, he's back to 3 in gas. Okay. So now we see. Double Evo or lair. That's the split. Does he want to match him on upgrades or try to get an advantage in tech? Usually for Baneling speed and then an option for Hive. We will see momentarily. It's Hellions with the initial Reapers. Just keeping as much pressure on as possible and keeping himself safe. So part of the advantage and the initial strength of the 2 rags build like this is that you have a wall. It's built in. It's buildings. So you don't have to worry about walling your natural because it's already walled. Though a little awkward in this scenario where you have to put the add-ons out in the front, which is more vulnerable on maps that don't have a ramp up to the natural, but in this case is perfectly defensible. So Dark, even more drones, the Queen's gathering. And it's gonna be double Evo. ByuN will have a decisive upgrade advantage, but Dark will have plenty of economy. He's going to have a lot of drones. Wouldn't be surprised to see a 4th and probably an alternative 4th. I refuse to call it a 5th until one of them is established. Then that's when it becomes a 5th. But the multi-expand Zerg style is back in fashion. Much like Wings of Liberty, where a lot of the time Zerg would expand to multiple sides in order to draw the Terran to one side. Maybe gets a base, but you still have another backup. The cost is, of course, the cost of another hatch. But if you're able to use that extra time to crush the army, it's well worth it. This has been... It's kind of come back into popularity because of the heavy timing attack styles. Not just 2 medevacs, though we do have 2 medevacs in this case, but more the 8 racks timings and the siege tank timings that rely on setting up and doing a longer form push. In this case, well, the Hellbats have arrived. So ByuN timed out his armory and now is ready to... Oh, that's a lot of... Is everyone here? Susan, Terran, Lucille, Edna, Jennifer. Oh, it's been a while. How are you? Oh, is it getting hot in here? The Hellbats are fighting the Queens. But the Queens have a beautiful royal concave. And ByuN fought right directly into the heart of the swarm. And the Hellbats were not nearly enough to break through. That was about the worst angle he could have taken. Tries to fight direct. Maybe overestimating the effectiveness of Hellbats in that particular case. And now Dark has 76 drones. He's got a lair on the way. ByuN is still very much going to have those upgrades. He's got 5 racks done now. Building tanks. Dark just now taking a 5th. And in this case, it is a 5th. Macro hatch on the way. And lairs complete. Baneling speed +2 melee. Joining production. Until Baneling speed is done, ByuN still has a lot of opportunity to still chip away at whatever Dark has. Once it is, it's a lot more difficult to get away cleanly. Small Zergling counter, but of course reinforcements, even a siege tank. Second factory's on the way. And the hatchery is taken out. The Queens, alongside the Lingbane, +1 Carapace done, so now upgrades, dead even. Though ByuN, closing in on 2-2 already. So again, he's going to have much more cost-effective units, but Dark, I think, has just way more units. Though the supply doesn't really reflect that at the moment. Dark has 1,500 minerals. Yeah, he spends all he can on Hydras. 10 Hydras on the way. Groovy spines for the range. Didn't actually have enough gas to build any more quite yet. There's no infestation pit. No infestation pit. So he's stuck, such as it is. Oh, the Queens. 3 gun down. And the drop at the back is cleaned up, actually. Marines. Oh my god. The Queens are being slaughtered, but the drones are not. And that's by far the most important part. The Queens gave their many lives for it. Dark has no Queens left. He lost a full dozen. Dark cutting off the reinforcements. He may be losing that third base. Cutting off the reinforcements is important, but he's got to break this forward position. And without the upgrades here, every single Queen died. Oh, that's like losing all of your add-ons and half your barracks. For Terran, ByuN's backing off. Not confident he can hold that position at the front. And with good reason. Gonna try to save the tanks. Will do so for now. Hydra speed not completed yet. There is no hive for Dark, though he did expand up to the north side. He's still going to have 4 bases to 3. Infestation pit finally starts, but Dark is knocked down to 69 drones, which is a nice lead for ByuN overall. Especially with upgrades. He's going to have 3-3 done so much quicker. I don't even know where it went wrong for Dark. Feels like he's just a day late and $1 short on pretty much everything so far this game. If he holds on long enough until he gets to Hive Tech, well, could see a repeat of game number 1. But ByuN has every advantage here. The economies are comparable, but he's going to have 3-3. He has way more production, but he does not have a Ghost Academy. So he may be fighting another match on principle. Of course, you don't really need ghosts yet if you're able to put so much pressure on with Bio. But it's still kind of surprising not to see any hint in that direction when you have such a comfortable position. The Marines all healed up, coming in again. 2-2 for both sides. Takes out a full medevac. Dark strikes back slightly. Hydras and Lings to protect the northern base. Targets down a Bane and extracts the rest. Almost loses another full medevac of Marines. And ByuN grits his teeth and builds the Ghost Academy. He says, all right, fine, I'll do it. And the Ghost Academy out of the way. The Lurker Den now in production. So, not a moment too soon for ByuN. The Banelings rolling through. So many Zerglings behind, but a Whittle Mine takes out the brunt of them. And that means the Marines can still stim through. ByuN still getting the damage done at the back. Hydras helping to thin out the Marines. Many of them badly bruised. The medevacs are all dead. One Baneling. But the main base is pretty much gone. The Hydras are able to pick off the rest of the Marines. Dark down 30 supply, including 20 workers, which means he might have the army to hold for now, but he's taking critical damage yet again. Couple Marines picked off in the main, the ones that survived. 238 Zerglings, but also 97 Marines have died in this game so far. And it feels like that's just the beginning. Well, ByuN has a window here. There's no 3-3 at all on the way from Dark. He's building one Lurker. That's not very many lurkers. You literally could not have any less and still have lurkers. He's gonna have to give up another base. Back down to 4, whereas ByuN is comfortably on his 4. Hasn't taken any damage. The Marines and Marauders were not healed up as there's 5 medevacs on the field, but some of them are still near the main base. The Queen's fighting a weird battle here. Transfuse. My god. That Marauder with armor. Well, this is like a Warcraft fight. Alright. We'll eventually die. And if it wasn't for that heal from the other Queen, well, it could have been a bit of a disaster there. You owe me, Brenda! Terran, it's your job! You don't get a compliment for doing your job! You should. I'm just saying. I don't... Ghost Cloak is completed. Dark has managed to scrape together 172 supply, but he's still down 15 workers. The lurkers are coming together, but with a couple medevacs, the Bio Army is able to trade for so many Zerglings. 31 Lings for 9 Marines and a Marauder. Yeah, not a horrible trade, but 4 ghosts at a time. A 5th base on the way. Dark. He's got to pull some magic here. He's done it before. It's gonna come down to timing. The most valuable resource is not minerals, not gas, but attention. Something that is in still short supply, even with these 2 incredibly high-level players. The way Dark is able to turn games around is by picking one moment. One moment to sweep the leg, twist the ear, and slit the throat. Which is incredibly gruesome, but also I feel somewhat accurate. And it's going to have to be with the lurkers somehow. Because ByuN is building up the ghost count. And we all know what happens when you get enough of them. Alright, you gotta call Ghost the game. The game. 3 more command centers, sniping Baneling cocoons. The ghosts themselves not bad against really anything in this army. The cloaks, but there is a single overseer, so Dark is going to be able to clean up the army for now, working on +3 attack and carapace for the hydras and lurkers of all things. Hey boys, you want a piece of meat, boy? What? You cut? I just noticed when it dies, it still has its marine pants on. It's a little sad. ByuN has a fusion core on the way, though almost certainly for advanced ballistics in this case, to complement the ghosts. Dark has survived. The ghost count at 8, and he just lost a couple more, and here come the lurkers. Most of the ghosts are loaded up into the medevacs right now, which means they're not in the fight. ByuN starting to snipe off lurkers, but Dark has 14 of them right now, which is a near critical mass, considering he has more than there are ghosts on the field. ByuN, what has happened? ByuN bleeding out ghosts on either side, and now trying to fight lurkers directly through the streets of his barracks and his factory, and getting cut to pieces. Planetary Fortress is taken down as well. 37 SCVs, Dark up 40 supply, and ByuN is quickly losing all of his economy and much of his army. He needs to break out of this quickly and cleanly. And right now, it's a bit of a question whether he can at all. The lurkers are surrounded finally. ByuN still taking terrible, terrible damage. He will clean it up. But Dark strikes back. He even cleaned up the base to the north. If there even was one there, I'm not sure. There's a lot of chew toy stuff. There's still lurkers in position. And Dark moves back in. He doesn't know about the base on the left side, and that's the only saving grace right now. But Dark burrows at the natural. ByuN's halfway across the map, and he has to come back home again. Meanwhile, Dark is mining about as comfortably as he can. There's no pressure on Dark. Unlike the rest of the game up until this point, the income advantage has shifted dramatically, plummeting off a cliff towards the Zerg. 51 SCVs dead in the last minute. And Dark realizes, he saw the SCVs transferring to that location. He realizes now there's a base there to deal with. ByuN scrambles to defend. The army supplies are still even. If he's able to pull it all together, there are 5 ghosts against 0 lurkers. The lurkers are all dead, though 5 more are in production. The queens are re-spreading the creep. A couple medevacs up to the north side, but the advantage is slipping. Well, it's already slipped. He was barely able to hold on to the game. ByuN needs to get damage done now. He squandered that advantage. Squandered it. Sorry. And now is on the precipice of defeat. Liberators and Ghosts, though. The most dangerous late-game units in the entirety of the game. Don't let Terrans tell you otherwise. A command center's about to be chased down by Hydras. I don't know how this happened, but this doesn't seem like the ideal location for a command center. Another drop coming in. Just Banelings? Is he gonna try to target all the Banes? I think he is. He was thinking about it, but Dark not bothering. More lurkers on the way. ByuN has not been rebuilding SCVs. He's on entirely mule-based economy here. He has 6 orbitals, so he can afford both mules and some scans, and he's gonna need both. The lurker count has climbed back up. He's at 10 of them against just 5 ghosts. The Liberators are still a real danger. But Dark is essentially porcupining here, making it very difficult for ByuN to attack in and then slipping around with the rest of the army. And ByuN, indecisive. The planetary under attack. The SCVs will all die. ByuN has less workers than he started with. He's got to go forward because there's nothing left to go back to. He stims and he takes down the lurkers. And a Widow Mine will get a big connection. He turns and fights the army from the back. The Vipers have the energy. The lurkers will burrow. Parasitic bombs on top of all the medevacs. Quarantines 1. Picks up the rest of the bio. The army supply is still so crazily close to even. Are there any ghosts left? He's splitting and stimming. There's too many Zerglings. We cannot get out. They are coming. There's no more economy. There's no more units. Dark has struck back. He turns it all the way around. ByuN. He tried to slip the ghosts in, but it ended up killing his momentum at the end of the day. And Dark goes up to match point. And I think you can tell, like, ByuN really not feeling the ghosts. He didn't embrace the Turtle Terran style. He tried to make it just another aggressive move. And ByuN's so close to breaking Dark there. But was he? Dark the kind of person that acts mentally broken. And then you come to pat him on the shoulder. Then you look down and there's a knife in your stomach. You look back up. And Dark smiles. Game 4. Oh no. ByuN is doing sir? Wait, no. We need to go back. We need to see if he saw the SCV. Oh, he did. Let's go to the dark cam. Oh, that's suspicious. So, ByuN proxies 1 out of 2 racks. The SCV heads back home The Overlord spots it coming in from an incredibly suspicious angle. And this time around, Dark not going for the gold. Alright, the double Reaper. I think that just gives it away right there. You shouldn't have 2 Reapers at this time. That's not how math works, unless you have 2 Rex, of course. And ByuN poking and prodding. He's not going to have enough Reapers to, well, hopefully for Dark to break all the way through. But he's quite committed to them, as having this barracks in the corner means he can't really participate in anything else particularly quickly. Drone hunted down and killed. Queens lamenting their lot in life, but that's just like their general demeanor. Yes, here we go. Whack a Reaper. Being as annoying as possible. ByuN still goes 3cc behind, takes the employee exit. All the maps are made by Terrans. I have it on good authority. So, technically all Terrans are employees. Beautiful grenade. But the Zerglings are able to intercept the well, the Zerglings are able to... The Zerg... The Zerg... Anyways, well, some of the Reapers make... The Zerglings pick off a couple Reapers on the way back. 12 Lings, but ByuN not able to kill any Queens. Dark didn't even bother with a third, for better or for worse. So... Command centers. Finishing up double engineering bay. ByuN switching from early aggression to full greed yet again. And I'm going to take a wild, absolutely out there guess and say that you've already liked and subscribed, so thank you for that. And I'm going to take another guess and say it's Marines. Roach 1 for the first time out of Dark. Doesn't look like a particularly aggressive intent, but instead a stopgap. The kind of, I guess, frontline roaches that are used to deal with Marines, any sort of Hellman timing. There's a chance he ends up going for just the mass roach style instead of transitioning into Ling Bane. But as Cyril has shown us, you can kind of go either way. So that is the main advantage of having the Roach Warren with a medium amount of roaches, like low double digits or so. A few Ravagers in there. Dark makes weird and disgusting magic happen with Ravagers and Corrosive Bile, so we will see. 1-1 on the way, Stim Pack in production. Armory as well. +1 ranged attack, +1 Carapace. It is a roach build, such as it is from Dark. He's got 50-something drones and counting. Roach speed on the way. So there will be a window here with 1-1 done and medevacs on the field. Maybe a tank or two, too. That ByuN can really use that mobility that the medevacs give you. But if he's not able to slow Dark down, the economy will grow out of control. Just absolutely. Well, game 1 did not end up in a good position for ByuN. He definitely wants to limit the 4th base at the very least. He's got a 4th base of his own, but he has the units, he has the position to do so. But it's still a precarious time. Alright, Hellbat's on the way with the roaches. Hellbat's, this is an ill-fated attack if he decides to go for it. He's gonna see that the roaches don't have upgrades. They don't have speed, but seems optimistic coming up that ramp. Speed is now done. The queens don't even need to be pulled. And there are only 5 queens in total, so the roaches kind of overlap with the queen's role as that early defense. And now is he gonna pick up Hellbats? What year is it? Hellbats, a little bit too slow as they waddle across, and now the roach speed counterattack. Nidus Network's on the way, as Dark interested in pulling it together. He's got exactly 66 workers. The mark of a timing attack. That's 3 base saturation fully, and not a bit more. So more roaches on the way. Dark gonna try to max out as quick as possible. And the Nidus probably to send the queens and then reinforcements across. There's a very suspicious dot on the minimap moving towards the main. Oh no, he has no vision. Oh no, this is a disaster. This is an absolute, utter disaster. And ByuN, we're gonna go to the ByuN camp. We'll see if he figures it out immediately. 3, 2, 1. The scream! He's just chasing down, though. He sees a Nidus over here. But into the main, the roaches! Oh no! Abandon ship! Abandon the main! Send everyone! Thankfully for ByuN, he has essentially nothing in the main. He only had his command centers, which is not, well, it's not nothing, but he has no production in the main, which is a very odd scenario. Corrosive Bow takes out the tank on the ramp. The SCVs are pulled to fight the army head on. The Ravagers having a bit of a tough time. Fire off the Corrosive Bows, knock out another tank. He's trading Ravagers for tanks, which is a bit of a rough trade economically, but Dark has the money to throw around. A 175 to 115 supply. A little misleading, because the Roach Ravager... Oh, the Queen! We've arrived! Well, I've arrived, I guess. Yeah. Okay. And Queen pops in, drops a creep tumor, refuses to elaborate further. The Roach Ravager still in the main. The inside-out attack. ByuN most vulnerable in his own main, rather than an attack outside the third. In fact, I'm surprised Dark is not attacking the SCVs from the high ground of the main base here. Well, the siege tanks have a bit of range. Actually, the Roach is getting into position. Dark realizing now he has an opportunity. The creep is now preventing Dark, or preventing ByuN from landing his base. And more creep, not quite preventing it at the 4th. But the Roaches scramble into the Nidus. Most of them make it. And Dark does not have an infestation pit on the way. I almost guarantee you we're going to see one now. If I were an infestation pit, where would I be? Let's see if I can predict Dark. There's Burrow. What? He does Burrow move? He's gonna double down on the Roach aggression? Alright, ByuN has infected him with this mid-game aggression. Instead of teching up, or even bothering with the infestation, but he's getting Burrow move Roaches, which are countered by the same things that ByuN is currently building. Which is, thus... where'd he build it? Oh, alright, fair enough. Infestation pit now on the way, but they're countered by siege tanks, marines, marauders, just the sheer bioball DPS. So a bit odd for Dark to choose to build the same units but sneakier. Like, almost a bit of a troll move, to be honest, but Dark would never. Oh. Having those options open. He's already limited ByuN in so many ways. ByuN has survived for long enough to get a lot closer to 200 supply. He's got 2-2 done. In fact, he's working on +3. Shuts down another Nidus. Dark is tenuous footing right now. He's not going to have a hive. He's going to be behind in upgrades. His economy isn't particularly incredible. At 201 over 200. ByuN is going to spot the Burrow move before it can be used. He sees those fancy-looking roaches. The queens. Oh, the welcoming party here. Not feeling very welcome now as Dozens of Marines drop out and gun them down. And ByuN making a lot of progress here. Targets out 1, 2, 3 Ravagers alongside everything else in the main. In fact, he almost won the fight outright. Another army. The Burrow Roaches, they're not burrowed, and it wouldn't have mattered either way. Dark losing so much over the last couple minutes. He's only killed 23 Marines and a medevac. He's lost 31 Roaches, 5 Queens, 5 Ravagers. ByuN also killed 5 of his own Marines. I guess we're counting that. The tanks, though, kind of stacked up. Dark gonna take full advantage. The Marines trying to stim into position, but find themselves surrounded. But a counterflank comes in from ByuN. Reinforcements have arrived to some extent. More Marines in the main. The Roaches are no contest for the +3 attack Marines. Another wave of corrosive bile, though, knocks out a couple tanks. A lot of the medevacs badly bruised as well. I take that back. Actually, none of them have any damage. They don't even have health bars. I thought it was the Roaches. Or the Roaches have damage. Not important. Medevacs are fine, but the Marines underneath, not so much of the time. But the Burrow Roaches stalled out the hive tech here for Dark. It may end up costing him. He still has the supply, but again, it's in Roaches, which the Marines and the tanks are not having too much trouble countering. Hydras, though, another story. Takes out another medevac. Another army headed up as well. Ravagers looking for an opportunity to take it out. Burrow Roaches into the natural. Attack into the main. The main base just got reestablished. Oh, just put in new upholstery. Gonna be taken down again. We've got Roaches everywhere. All right, property value is plummeting. But the Marines are stimming through, tearing up everything in their path, right up until the critical mass of Hydras. Is that smart servos? You guys, you can't just press the button. The upgrades aren't free. What? Supplies plummeting on both sides. ByuN is researching smart servos, which is Hellbat/Thor Viking transform speed, which makes even less sense to me than the tunneling claws. That has to be a misclick of some sort. Maybe he's trying to build a siege tank or something. Well, another drop comes in. Dark. It's 57 to 30 workers, as both of them have been battered down in supply. There's still a Nidus in the main. It's just Dark didn't have enough units to send through it. More Roaches outside the gold base. And by the way, ByuN has a gold. The mules don't mind more, but the SCVs do. Another Nidus in the main. Just making sure the first one isn't an issue. The rally point is set poorly. And now the command center's under attack. Second Nidus completes. Bio army. Some Roaches pop up at a very inopportune time. Concussive shells is not researched right now for the Marauders, which is a mild to moderate mistake, especially considering the amount of times he's been able to potentially chase down some units. But the Vipers are on the field. And there's no hope of ghosts for ByuN this time around. The choke point is asphyxiating right now, as Dark trying to come down the ramp, but the medevacs are yanked out and knocked down by the Hydras. And there's still Hydras in the main. There's still a tank. 65 to 30 SCVs. Another base from Dark to the north. Finally, ByuN is clearing up some of the infestation in his main. He's cleared up at the 4th. There's still some Roaches at the 3rd. And Dark is up 50 supply. ByuN starting to realize he's getting concussive shells now. There's still enough bio. The Hydras are zoned out. Only 2 medevacs on the field. Does the starport even have a reactor? It does, but ByuN is hurting so much for money, he's not able to utilize it. But the tie here kind of goes towards the leader, and it's not really tied. Dark is just leading. 69 drones, a nice economic lead, and still with the Nidus in the main. I don't know if he still had a burrowed Roach in here or something, or he somehow got vision again. Another barracks will burn, and ByuN's tenuous defense is continuing to crumble. 1 SCV at a time. The Hydra will burrow, making this even more like a campaign mission. A scan. He has 4 orbitals, but every scan is precious. No hope of a Raven. Let's be real here. Even if he thought it was a good idea, there's no chance of getting another starport with a tech lab. 11 Marines at a time. ByuN will live or die by the Marines. And that second one is looking more likely by the second. Another... Oh, there's still an overseer. Yeah, that'll do it. The Vipers yanking a tank. The bio ball, still. The lurker den is about halfway done. Lurkers would be devastating. But ByuN still has a lot of well-upgraded Marines and Marauders. At some point, he's got to commit. And in fact, he's found an opportunity. He's going to take out the hatch to the north. Dark doesn't have that many bases to mine from, that many mineral patches to work with. Some units rallied out of the Nidus, they're taken out. Another base forced to lift. And Dark, not enough Roach Hydra to match here. A single medevac, but plenty of bio. Make that 2 medevacs. I don't know if he noticed the drones burrowing. Another hatch may die. The Vipers have full energy, but one of them dies almost before being able to use it. It gets taken out in time and yanks in a medevac. But the bio army is still fighting, and he retreats. And again, it's happened again. He's able to abduct the medevacs and knock them out. ByuN escapes through the mineral wall, and another Nidus is taken down. But the Overseer is still in range to place another one. But Dark is drawing closer in supply. ByuN, though, doesn't have anything to deal with this, and the orbital itself is under fire, on fire, and now dead. The medevac's taken down. Ravagers sidestepping it. Are there enough Marines to fight this? Reinforcements will turn the tides. ByuN moves forward. Dark is taking out the SCVs. And what is left? Just more Marines. Double the supply. Dark is bearing down, and ByuN has almost nothing left. The mules will drop 15 SCVs dead, only 16 left on the field. The Viper comes up, he scans, but the reinforcements arrive. It's far too much. Dark finishes him off. 3-1. What a hectic game. In typical Dark versus ByuN fashion. It went sideways, it went underground, it went above it. But it ends up with Dark on top and ByuN 6 feet down. An exhausting match. That game felt like 12 and 40 minutes at the same time, but we'll even out and call it 20. Oh my. My brain always hurts a little bit. I don't know if it's in a good way, like it's expanding, or in a bad way, like my blood pressure is way too high. Or maybe both after one of these matches, but either way. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope it made your day a little bit better. Congratulations, Dark, getting the better of him this time. And especially considering that ByuN won like 7 or 8 out of the last 10 times they faced online, and then Dark pulls out just a completely new style to smash him. Though I don't know if the bro move was a good idea, but either way, thank you for watching. If you got the means and motivation, it'd be awesome to check out Patreon or YouTube membership, but otherwise, liking and subscribing is still free for now. All right, I'll see you next time. Hopefully I made your day a little bit better. Good luck. Have fun. Stay chill.